We're in Death Valley at the racetrack. You can see that these rocks have these crazy lines that shows that they came from somewhere and moved over here. We're in the southeast end. You can see that there's the grandstand over there. You can go up and climb. But all the rocks with the trails are on this end. You can see they kind of litter the landscape. It's a 27-mile ride down a dirt road to get here. It's definitely worth it though.
California's Death Valley, known for both extreme heat and cold, is the land of many mysteries. One of them seems to be solved at last. Geologist Richard Norris and his cousin Jim Norris say they have figured out what's behind the so-called sailing stones phenomenon of Death Valley that has puzzled scientists for decades. A dry lake bed in the valley, known as the Racetrack Playa, has become famous for being dotted with hundreds of stones, some as heavy as 700 pounds, that move across the desert floor and leave long trails behind them. But until recently, nobody had been able to prove what actually makes the stones move. Richard Norris says the phenomenon had fascinated him for a while.
For me, it was this business about, all these funny parallel trails that are clearly there's some sort of common force involved. And it's just one of these sort of geological mysteries that everybody knows about, but we don't know about it.
Miners who worked in Death Valley a century ago were among the first to report seeing rocks with trails behind them on the dry lake. Scientists have been developing theories to explain the mystery since the late 1940s. The Norrises were the first to scientifically verify the phenomenon by recording it on camera. The scientists set up a weather station and put GPS trackers on rocks with cameras around them. In December 2013, 2 years into the research, the rocks started to move. Rain had fallen the day before, and it formed a pond with a thin layer of ice.
You have a beautiful sunny day, you have a frozen surface of the pond, of this ice floating on a few inches of liquid water. And when ice breakup takes place, when the ice begins to melt just enough under the light breezes, big ice sheets drive the rocks in front of them and just plow them along the bottom of this shallow pond.
By the end of the day, some of the stones had moved over 200 feet. Mr. Norris says it's very rare that all these conditions are just right for movement to take place, and he compares his chance to observe it all with winning the lottery.
Actually seeing the process explains so much. It's like the scales fall from your eyes. You begin to figure out all these phenomena. And now we can go out there and read that playa, all these tracks and trails and so forth. It now makes sense.